just like this when I was in a position, just around the senior manager position about 13 years ago. And I remember Mr. Danny speaking on the stage, the first event I ever came to. And when I came to that first training just like this, just hearing Mr. Danny for the first time, meeting him for the very first time, I'm like, wow, I get to be in a room next to a legend like Mr. Danny Bay. And I got inspired that first training. I got inspired to be a top leader. And I told myself, you know what? I want to get good at Remont. I want to, not at Remont, but it's another company, but I said, I want to get good. I want to learn. I want to be like Mr. Danny Bay. You know, and over the course of years, you know, on my entrepreneur journey, fast forward today, of course, doing Remont today, found Remont 3 years ago. You know, some of you know my story. You know, I got introduced to Remont 3 years ago. But I didn't come from success. I didn't come from a rich family. My family came from South Korea, you know, to New York for the American dream. You know, we came from very humble beginnings. But at an early age, at a very younger age, I saw my parents struggle financially, which inspired me to become an entrepreneur. I told myself, you know what, when I get older, I want to take care of my mother. I want to retire my parents. So I studied business. I went to school for business, right? I became an entrepreneur. You know, what met Mr. Danny Bay about 13 years ago. You know, went through the world of entrepreneurship, good days and bad days. You know, and then 3 years ago, I was introduced to Remont. Just got started, I remember. Everyone told me, Steve, it's almost impossible for Remont, a K-beauty company, to have success in America. Because they told me, Steve, there's never been a K-beauty company in America that had big success. So what's the chance that Remont had success? Probably that would be great. But I didn't listen to that. I got started with Remont. They said, Steve, you're a guy. Mostly females are in K-beauty or beauty industry. What are the chances you're going to become even a team leader? I became a team leader. He said, what are the chances you're going to go out there and help others become team leaders? I went out there and promoted other team leaders, right? Fast forward today, became a director, became a senior director, became a national director. But let me share with you one thing, guys. It wasn't just a smooth ride up, right? But one thing I learned from Mr. Danny Bay and all of my past mentors was, I'll share with you one story. When I was just a director, I just became a director. I remember Taiwan was opening up, and I remember I met Mr. Jackie Chan over here, met National Director. And I remember we're having some meetings. We went down to a small city called Kaohsiung, where we had some pop-ups and meetings there. And then we had another meeting scheduled. And as we were doing a meeting, I was looking at the time. They said, Steve, the last train back up going home is around 9 p.m. But even though I didn't have any extra clothes, even though I didn't have anything to go to sleep that night, I said, you know what? Before going home, we're gonna get results. We're gonna get results. See, today my top, and here's what happened, we got results. We signed up 3 senior managers that evening. And I got to go to a 7-Eleven, got some extra clothes and socks, and you know, and was able to go into a hotel and stay there. But the point is this, as a leader, we have to create a winning culture. And I'm gonna share with you guys a story about a team from New Zealand, actually, and they're called the All Blacks, okay? And this team is a top rugby championship team, and they're known for winning. But the crazy thing about the story is this, even though they're top championship teams, even though they're winners, all right? After every game, after every rugby game, you know who's cleaning the locker room? It's just the leaders. The top legends of the team are doing it. Why are they doing that? They want to show an example, right? That's showing great culture. I'm going to share with you guys a quick video here, okay?
What if I told you the most dominant team in sports history cleans their own locker room? Not the rookies, not the staff, the legends. The New Zealand All Blacks, one of the most successful rugby teams in the world. World champions, global icons. A legacy of dominance, but their most powerful tradition doesn't happen on the field. After every match, win or lose, the players stay behind and clean the locker room. Even the captains, even the superstars, even the legends, they call it sweep the sheds. Why would champions do that? Because no one is bigger than the culture. Talent doesn't build dynasties. Standards do. Better people create better teams, which produce winning results. Leaders, this is the standard. Culture is not what you post. It's what you tolerate. It's what you monitor.
Longevity, making an impact.
If your leaders don't serve, they don't deserve to lead.
So, change the way teams have to play or play history.
Winning culture isn't created by talent. It's created by the standards leaders live every day.
When they consistently do it, they get opportunities to actually.
Sweep your sheds.
And that's exactly the type of mentality you want to have in Remont, right? I was hearing a story of Mr. Tim Herr. He was doing tours at the office for, people coming to the office, right? He's a national director, right? Like, being a servant leader is where you want to be with Remont. And you want to have, and to be a servant, when you become a servant leader, guess what happens to your team, right? You create a winning culture, right? So, here's what I want to talk to you guys about, okay? What is normal inside your team and what's normal gets duplicated? What does this mean, right? You got to ask yourself this question today. In your business today, right, what's considered normal? Yeah? Are you doing maybe one pop-up a week, one presentation a week, right? Or are you doing multiple presentations every single day, right? See, when I first got started with Remont, I remember I was doing so many presentations I was doing Zoom calls, presentations, not once a day, not twice a day, but it would be maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day, right? I was doing so many meetings, so many presentations. Of course, you don't have to do what I did, but guess what happened? That became the normal for me. While some people had schedules with maybe once a week or 1 or 2 meetings a week, right? My schedule was every single day. And when a new person entered, let's say, the organization, a group chat, they're like, wow, Steve's doing so many presentations. Steve's doing so many meetings. But here's what happened. They didn't think that, oh, wow, he's doing so much now. It became, wow, that's a normal thing. It just became a normal thing in the culture, right? See, if you create that type of culture in your business, when new people join your teams, here's what happens. That's normal now. Oh, it's normal to do multiple meetings a week. It's normal to do multiple pop-ups a week, right? Not like, oh, let me just do it once a month. If you create that type of culture in your team, in your business, your activities, here's what happens. You're going to create a winning culture. You're going to create a winning culture, right? So, you want to create that type of normal in your business. So ask yourself this question today. What's your normal today, right? What's your normal in your business today? Maybe right now you're not satisfied where you are right now, and you want to increase. Well, let me tell you something. You could increase it, right? You can do more meetings, you can schedule more pop-ups, you can do more activities, and create a new standard of normal as well. If recruiting planners and customers is normal, guess what happens to your business? Your business grows, right? If recognition is normal, right? Guess what happens? You're retaining your leaders, right? Recognition is so important every single week. I remember when I was just a team leader, right? I was literally promoting managers and senior managers almost every single day. Every single day I was adding new people into the group chat, adding new planners. Why? Because I wanted people to see that. Hey, look, you know what? Even though you're not working, I'm working. Even though you're not getting customers, I'm getting customers. Even though you're not doing pop-ups or meetings, guess what I'm doing? I'm still doing it, right? And that's a culture I created from day one. As a senior manager, as a team leader, right? When I would travel to, maybe Chicago or New York or any location, I remember coming to a pop-up, and guess what happened? There was no guests. They're like, Steve, people didn't show up. Guess what I said? It's okay. But guess what? I'm not leaving until we get some results. Because why? I want to make sure my team wins. So we started making phone calls on the spot. We had people come out that evening, had some meetings. Guess what happened? We signed new partners, right? That was my mentality every time I traveled anywhere. I told myself, look, I'm going and I'm getting results. And I'm not coming home until I get results. That's your mentality. You don't want to go to an event. You don't want to go to a pop-up. You don't want to go to have a presentation, have a meeting. They go, oh, sorry, my guest didn't show up. And you're like, okay, see you later. Let me go home now, right? You don't want to be that type of leader. Be a leader that tells yourself, you know what? I don't care if you brought people or not people. I'm going to help you get results today. Let's make some phone calls. Let's send out some messages, right? Be that type of leader. Because here's what happens, right? When you do that for your future leaders, when that individual becomes a leader, a year later from today, when they're having their meetings, they're having their pop-ups, they're having their presentations, and their team members are bringing, and they're doing an event, and their guests don't show up, guess what they're gonna do? They'll duplicate exactly what you did. They'll remember the time where you had guests that didn't show up, but your leader, your upline, your sponsor helped you get results that day. So guess what? They're gonna do the same thing. They're gonna go out there and say, hey, you know what? Let's make some phone calls. Who do we know? Who can we call right now to meet right now? Right? Who can we meet tomorrow in the next 24 hours, right? You want that to duplicate. That's called winning culture, right? That's how I do my business every single day, from senior manager, team leader, to all the way up to where we are today, right? If you have a lot of excuses in your business, guess what's gonna happen? Your business is not gonna grow. Right? If you complain about the weather, you complain about the business, you complain about your sideline, you complain about the company. If you keep on complaining, your business won't grow, okay? 4 pillars of winning culture, okay? Standards, example, energy, and recognition. I talk about standards so much at the very beginning. I remember telling all my team members, telling everybody, have a high standard. Ladies, right? Don't we have high standards when you're meeting your significant other, right? Who has high standards, right? Many of us, right? The husbands are next to you right now nudging you. Of course you do, right? Of course, high standards is what we all want, right? And when you have high standards in your business, guess what happens? Your performance changes, right? And let me talk to you guys about what high standards and what type of standard you should have in Huyn, okay? So what does a leader do weekly, right? Well, guess what we're doing, right? We're exposing Huyn consistently, right? We're always sharing about Huyn. We're always talking about Huyn. We're always posting about Huyn, inviting people to meetings and pop-ups, right? We're launching and developing new people all the time. I love launching and developing new people. I love when a brand new person gets started. They're brand new. And even though they're not my direct sponsor, they may be in a team and maybe they're my 10th or 20th level, I don't care. I love to grab that person, work with them, help them, and launch them, right? Your job as a leader doesn't matter who sponsors who. Your job is to be a servant leader. Your job is to go out there and help that new person get started correctly, right? Help that person make sure that they attend their first orientation, right? Helping team members get promoted weekly, right? Managers, senior managers, team leaders, and higher. Your goal is to promote new people in your business all the time. That's called a winning culture. When people see that you're promoting other people every single week, every single month, guess what happens? They're like, wow, my leader is promoting so many managers, promoting so many senior managers. Guess what they want to do? They want to copy you, right? They want to copy you. I remember as a team leader, I was promoting so many managers and senior managers every single week. Every single week. But guess what happened? That just became the normal now. Right? It wasn't like, wow, he's promoting a lot of people now. That just became normal. Oh, it's normal to promote this many senior managers every single week. That became the culture, right? Leaders host events, pop-ups, Zoom calls, trainings, right? That's our job as leader. Our job is to create that playing field, right, for people to play on, right? See, if I'm a top leader, right, if I'm a superstar, and I join your team, but there's nowhere to play, right, nowhere to do my meetings or pop-ups or do anything, it's hard for me to grow. As a leader, we must create that environment, right? We must create the playing field so that I can run on the track, right? If I'm a fast runner, guess what I want to do? I want to run on a fast track. I want to run on a track and compete with top runners, right? But if you don't provide that environment, it's hard for me to grow. So as a leader, okay, it doesn't matter if you're a senior manager or a team leader, right? You have to create that environment where people can run on, that people can race on, that people can grow on, and develop into top team leaders, directors, and higher as well. Remember, high standards equals high results. When I was a team leader, once again, I remember my mindset was this as a team leader. My mindset was, I have to make minimum $20,000 every month. That was my mindset as a team leader. I told myself, anything under $20,000 a month, I was so disappointed. I couldn't think about it, tell myself, oh my God, I'm disgusted with myself. If I made anything under $20,000, I was so mad at myself because my standards are so high. I was like $10,000 a month, that's nothing close to my standards. $20,000 was my bare minimum, my bottom. That was my mindset as a team leader, right? See, if you raise your standards, guess what happens to everybody else? Their standards also rise as well. You have to have a high standard from the very beginning, okay? Leaders don't wait for momentum, they create it, right? They create it. As I told you earlier, every time I visited a city, a country, right? We created the momentum. We created the partners. We created finding new people. We created and intentionally made new success stories. That was the job every single time. It wasn't just like, let me just visit you guys in this country and that country, go to this city and fly here and go to that city and just say hello and goodbye, have a nice day. It wasn't about that. It was about intentionally going from city to city, country to country, and getting results. And doing whatever you can to get the results before you go home. That's called the winner's mindset. Even though they didn't bring guests, even though it was bad conditions, weather conditions, delays, flights, whatever the condition may be, doesn't matter what the excuse was. My mindset always was, I don't care, I'm gonna get results. No matter what. Next 24 hours, I'm gonna get results. Let's make some phone calls. And when you actually get the results, guess what happens? Your team member gets so excited. Wow, I can't believe my leader just helped me get results in 24 hours. I was so down because all my guests didn't show up, but my leader starts helping me message people, call few people, and within 24 hours, he or she was able to help me get some results. Do you know how pumped up your people get if you do that for them? Do you know how much confidence gets built up when you help a brand new person get results like that? They get super pumped up. And here's what happens to them, their mindset now, wow, if they could do that, I want to do that later for my future team members as well, right? That creates more belief in their team, right? So you want to be a leader that creates winning habits and winning results, okay? If the leader is slow, your culture is slow, right? If the leader is fast, your culture is fast. Understand that speed of leader determines the speed of team. A lot of times, my team member says, hey Steve, my team is so slow, I wish they were fast. Guess what? Your team is slow because you're slow, right? Your team is slow because you're slow. If you want your team to be fast, you gotta be fast. I love working fast. I love going so fast. I love promoting, doing meetings and presentations and promoting people so fast. I love it. I love going in full speed. Sometimes people are like, wow, Steve's going too fast. Well, you know what? It's not fast. That's my norm. Fast is normal to me, but for others it's fast, right? Once again, if you go fast, that becomes normal in your business, okay? One excited leader can lift the room, one discouraged leader can slow an organization. What does this mean? I remember so many times people had bad days, bad things that happen at home or their business or relationships. And they come into a room with such a down, you know those type of people, right? You know when they're down and they're grudgy and they're grumpy, right? How many of you guys know those type of people? Yeah. Right? How many of you are sitting next to them right now? Don't raise your hand, it's okay. Okay? We meet those people all the time. But you gotta leave those emotions out the door. What did you hear about Mr. Danny Bay saying in the beginning of the training? We all have problems. Every one of us go through problems. We all have stress. It's normal. But you leave that out the door. Leaders knows how to leave that out the door. When you're walking into the room, guess what you gotta see? It's the poker face, right? It's the poker face. When you're down and you're emotionally hurt or anything is wrong with you, guess what's gonna happen, right? Others will feel that. They feel your emotion, right? But when you're excited, you come into the room walking with confidence. Hey guys, let's go, right? Now you're controlling the room, right? You want to be that type of leader, right? You know, humans mirror emotions. Recognition events builds the energy, right? All you want to do is keep on recognizing people, build events, right? That builds the energy in the room, right? Your team will not remember everything you say, but they will remember how it felt to be around you. This is so key, guys, so key. So many times I go out there, I have meetings, I meet people, we have meetings together, right? It's that one-on-one conversation you have maybe after the pop-up. It's that maybe a talk or a bite or a dinner you have with some of your leaders, right? And when they have that conversation with you and they feel like, wow, like I had such an amazing time, an amazing leadership conversation, right, with my leaders, like those type of experiences and how they feel after the meeting is the reason why many people continue, right? You know, what you celebrate grows, right? What gets celebrated gets repeated, right? You know, you gotta catch people doing something right. That's leadership. Every time I see my team members or anyone doing something right or productive, guess what I'm doing? I'm saying, great job, congratulations, you're doing an amazing job, right? Anything that you want to promote in your team, right? If you see someone doing a healthy, a good activity, congratulate them, right? Doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that they have to sign up managers or senior managers or get customers. Just good behavior, right? Good behavior, right? If you see someone at a pop-up, right? Pop-up is finished, right? You see all the towels here, all the products here. The event's finished. And you're maybe just a senior manager, right? Guess what you want to do? You want to go out there and help clean up too. Be a team player, right? Be a team player, right? You don't have to be a top leader to be the one cleaning up, right? Even directors and senior and national directors are out there helping clean up and set up the room. Right? We're always the first one setting up or closing out the room, right? Be a servant leader. Be a servant leader. That's the best way to act every single time. Never be too big, all right, to do the smaller things in your business, right? You never want to be too big, right? And if you only recognize a rank, people wait for that, okay? People wait for that. But if you recognize activities, people start acting. So for example, right, if someone does a pop-up, and let's say there was no new manager, senior manager, it's okay. The pop-up was a good activity, right? So still congratulate people. Great job, guys. Great job. That pop-up was amazing. They did maybe a 2-on-1 personal demo. Maybe they did a 1-on-1 presentation for the first time. They didn't get results. It's okay. It's okay they didn't get results, but what do you want to do? You still want to congratulate them. Because why? They're just showing the efforts. Every small things, right? Small or big. It could be something tiny. Recognize your people. Celebrate those small little wins, right? Encourage them more. That's how people get better. It's not always about, oh, I'm going to only congratulate you when you sign up as team manager. When you only sign up a manager. When you only become team leader, I'm going to congratulate you. No, it's a small little wins. Small wins become big wins, right? You know, people rarely leave only because of money. They leave when they feel invisible, right? So key. So key. You know, so many times we deal with so many people. We have big organizations. You tell me, hey Steve, I'm working with so many people. How can I talk to everybody? How can I communicate with everyone? How can I help everybody, right? Don't be too big to do the small things. You know, when people tell me, Steve, I can't believe, Steve, like today, even past weeks, people are messaging me, Steve, I can't believe you're responding to me. I'm just a planner. You're a national director. You're still helping me. I'm a planner. You gotta be that kind of person. It doesn't matter what position they are. It doesn't matter if they just got started yesterday, right? And you're a top leader in the company, right? You want to be a servant leader, right? Never be too big to do the small things in your business, okay? Understand that there's always a few things that kills your culture in your business. One of them is when a leader is not consistent. Inconsistent leaders always destroy your business. And let me give you a few examples. You work hard your first 2 months. You're excited. Third month, it's the holiday season. And you want to go on vacation, right? You want to go on vacation, you're out for 2-3 weeks, you come back home, and you don't want to do remont now for another 2-3 weeks, and you get started maybe a month later. Every time you're back and forth, every time you start, stop, guess what happens, right? Your business doesn't grow. How many of you have ever gone to the gym before? You worked out, maybe for a few months, you start getting some muscle, you start losing some weight, and you stopped for 6 months, right? You did that before, right? And you start all over again. How does it feel when you go on your first day? It's so hard to lift your first weight. It's so hard to go back on the treadmill. It's so hard to even go to the gym after 6 months, right? You don't want to do that. You know, when I first started Remont, I didn't take any days off. I didn't go on any vacations. I didn't go on any type of things that would, you know, get me not focused on my business, right? I didn't just go on trips and vacation because I knew how important staying focused was. I knew how important of, you know, working on my business every single day until I became the national director, right? Even today, even as a national director today, you know, Remont, you know, it became now more of a lifestyle to me, right? It's not an obligation to me anymore. Right now, Remont, I do Remont now because I love Remont. It's my lifestyle now. I love going out there helping people, right? Get to higher positions. I love our industry. I love, you know, our products. I love our company. I love our chairman. How many of us love our company and our products and chairman, right? We all do, right? Let me tell you something, guys. We are truly blessed, okay? We are truly blessed to have met and found Remont at this current stage in our lives today. 3, 4, 5 years later, years from today, guys, when it's 2030, the year 2030, 2031, 4 or 5 years from today, we'll look back at these years, these moments, and be so thankful we got started at the beginning stages. At the beginning stages. 4 years from today, 5 years from today, when the year is 2030, 2031, you know what all of us will say? I wish I worked a little bit harder. I wish I brought a little more people to the convention. I wish I did a little bit faster. That's what all of us are going to say. But imagine You are able to go back to the future, right? And this is your current present. You saw your future already. It's 2031. Remon is a multi-billion-dollar company, 50 plus countries, 200 plus products. We're everywhere. We're a household name. And you're telling yourself, damn it, there's so many national directors. There's so many senior directors. If I only worked a little bit harder, I could have done it. But here we are now in 2026, before 2031, right? Here's your chance to win, right? Tell the person next to you that you're gonna win this year. This is your year, okay? This is your year, okay? Another thing is this, lack of belief, right? I always tell my team members this as well, right? It's not about if you believe in Remon or not. It's how much do you believe in Remon? We can all believe in Remon, but your level of belief matters the most, okay? When I talk to individuals about Remon, when they feel my energy, my excitement, my confidence, they know like, wow, Steve, your belief level is at an all-time high. I'm not having small little conversations saying, yeah, I believe Remon, I think it's gonna work out. That's not me. When people talk to me, they feel the energy, they feel the excitement, they feel the confidence. When they feel that, they're like, wow, Steve really believes in Remon. Steve really believes that Remon's become a multi-billion-dollar company. You know what that belief signals to them? Wow, if Steve believes like that, I'm in, I'm going in. They may not even understand everything. They may not understand all the products. They just see your belief level at an all-time high, they're in. So remember that, our belief level matters in Remon, okay? Entitlement for leaders, right? This always kills the business. People think that they're too good to do the small things. Now they became a team leader. They want their team members to do all the work now, right? They're a top producer now. Oh, I don't gotta do any more work now. Let my team members do the work. Oh, they're setting up for the pop-up. I'm too big for the pop-up. I'm not gonna clean up. I'm not gonna help set up. You know, you never want that. You always gotta get certain, like you saw in the movie clip earlier, right? It doesn't matter if they're a champion, right? They're out there sweeping the sheds. They're out there cleaning the floors. They're showing people that, hey, this is what the standard is. It doesn't matter about my title. It doesn't matter if we're top winners. We're gonna be out there serving the community, right? That's the mindset, right? And how culture scales in Remon? Well, look, culture scales through leaders, not volume, right? If you wanna really grow your business, okay, you gotta build more leaders. That's how you build your organization, right? Customers create sales, yes they do, of course, right? But leaders are the one that creates a culture in your team. And the repetition of great culture becomes the normal standard in your business as well. Ever since day one to now, guys, it was repetition, consistency, good culture, good behaviors, fast, right? Helping people get promoted, having a lot of activities, right? Having many Zoom calls, many pop-ups, many meetings, right? That became normal. And we repeated this over and over and over and over again. And here's what happened. Eventually, many new people became directors. Many new became senior directors and national directors, right? It was consistent repetition over and over and over and over again. That's how you win a Remon, right? It's not about always trying to tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna do Remon when I get excited. It's not about that, right? Someone asked me about last week, said, Steve, how do you stay motivated in Remon? Right? How do you stay motivated in Remon? I told them it's not about motivation, because motivation is temporary, right? It's about discipline, right? If you have discipline on your Remon business, doing the meetings and presentations with pop-ups weekly, even whether you're getting business or not getting business, consistently doing that over and over is how you win. Because motivation runs out, but if you have discipline and consistency, even in the good days and bad days, you're still working. You're still actually getting results, right? That's the mindset of a champion in Remon, okay? And large organizations run on what is repeated, okay? Culture is the operating system of your business. So remember this, all of you, many of you right now are senior managers. You're just getting started with this. Some of you are team leaders and higher, right? The culture you create right now will duplicate next 3 months, next 6 months, next 1 year. Start your culture strong, starting from today. After this convention weekend, what do you want to do? Set up a lot of pop-ups, set up a lot of meetings, have your calendars booked, right? Have a lot of Zoom calls booked out, right? The more your calendar is booked the next 30 days, that becomes a culture. If you could do that in March, you can do that in April. You can do that in May. And if you continue that culture of having many pop-ups, many meetings, many events happening every single week, many activities, guess what's gonna happen to your business? You're gonna get results. You're gonna get results, right? You know, there's a saying about a thermometer versus a thermostat, right? The thermometer reacts to the environment, right? And the thermostat sets the environment. You want to be a thermostat, not the thermometer. Thermometer is someone that says, looks and observes the meeting room, right? Oh, he's working, she's not working. Oh, I'll work when I start getting some results, or when people say yes, I'll start putting my effort in, right? They're reacting to everything happening. But the thermostat, guess what's happening? Guess what a thermostat does? That person is in the room, working the room. That person is in the room, leading the room. That person is the one that creates the temperature in your room. When you're excited, when your belief level is at all-time high, you're walking into that room, talking to all your guests, handshaking, talking with them, having conversation, showing your excitement, showing your belief. You're creating the temperature in that room. Versus just watching and observing like a thermometer. You don't want to be that person. On your next meetings, your Zoom calls, your pop-ups, your next conversations, have that confidence, have that backbone, have your energy level at an all-time high. Let people feel that excitement. You guys feel my excitement, right? Let people feel that. That fire inside of you, right? People need to feel that fire inside of you. I'm telling you, when they feel that fire inside of you, their temperature starts rising. Wow, I feel the fire, there starts rising. Guess what happens to everybody around them, right? All the temperature starts rising. You want to be that person in the room, okay? That person in the room. Winning culture requires thermostats, right? Your team doesn't need to be the room, they need you to set it, okay? You are the leader. You're the one doing the meetings. You're the one doing the pop-ups. You're the one doing the presentations. You're the main host. They see you. So guess what they're gonna also do? Guess what also they're gonna see? They're gonna see your energy. They're gonna see your temperature level, right? They're gonna see how excited you are, right? How motivated you are, how fired up you are, right? They need to see that, right? Fastest way to grow your organization is to raise your personal leadership standard, okay? Personal development, remember Stanley talks about it all the time. You want to grow yourself as a leader. I love reading. I love listening to audios and podcasts. I love growing my mindset. I love improving myself. I love becoming a better leader. Because I know that the more I learn, the better I become, the better I can pour down to my team members and the people that I want to work with, right? You want to grow as an individual. Think about this. Why are there people today that make over $1 million to $2 million a year, while some people today only make $100,000 a year? What's the difference? The only difference is this: the person that makes $1 million, $2 million a year right now knows how to do it. If the person that was making $100,000 a year knew how to make $1 million, they would already be doing it, right? What's the difference? It's here. So be a student. Work on yourself. Work on your goals. Work on your mindset. Work on your development skills, right? Practice your craft. Become better in Huyn, right? That's how I've been getting better with women all the time. And even as a national director today, guess what I'm still doing? I'm still working on my craft. I'm still listening. I'm still studying. I'm still educating myself. Because why? I know I can be better. And all of us can be better. And as we get better, who else gets better? Huyn gets better, right? We are the future of the leadership of Huyn organization. We're the ones that's going to be having teams in so many countries. This entire room will be filled with directors, senior directors, and national directors, right? How many of us believe that, right? All of us, right? All of us should be believing that. This is a core group right here, right? So have that type of mentality, right? Culture is not built when things are exciting. It's built when leaders stay consistent during ordinary days, right? During boring days, you still want to do what you want to do as a leader. You don't want to only work on the days when it's exciting. You want to put in your work and your efforts every single day. And when you do that, that's how organizations become unstoppable. Unstoppable, right? I'm so excited right now for this weekend because I know this weekend, so many of you are going to have your life changed like it happened to me many years ago as well. So many of you this weekend is going to make a decision. Tell yourself, you know what? I'm going all in now with Huyn. Some of you right now, you're 25% in. Some of you are just 50% in. You're dipping your toes in the water right now. You're saying it's a little bit too cold, the water's too cold. But let me tell you something. When you're 100% in Huyn, 100% in the water, guess what happens? The water's not that cold. And when you start swimming with other people, right? And you get better with other people, guess what happens? You're gonna become a team leader. You're gonna become a director, a senior director, a national director. And this year will be a big winning year for all of you. So guys, let's make this weekend the best event ever. Let's appreciate Mr. Chairman An for all the great news he's announced this weekend as well. And I appreciate all of you that are here this weekend, and I can't wait to see all of you get promoted on the next big stage. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys at the top.